Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into a topic that is literally rewiring how we work, how we learn, and honestly, how we exist. Think about this for a second. When ChatGPT launched, it hit 100 million users in just 2 months. That is an unprecedented explosion of adoption, especially inside universities. But as students and professionals started treating this tool as a brainstorming buddy, a writing assistant, and sometimes a massive shortcut, a really huge global mystery emerged. What exactly is this generative AI doing to our brains? So that brings us to the central paradox we're unpacking today. Is ChatGPT making university students smarter? Or, let's be real, just lazier? It's kind of a fascinating irony, isn't it? We've built this technological marvel specifically designed to mimic human thought. But there is a rapidly growing concern that this exact tool might actually be causing us to stop thinking for ourselves. Are we stepping into an era of amplified human intelligence, or are we simply outsourcing all of our cognitive heavy lifting to an algorithm? And look, this isn't just some hypothetical fear. This is a real, documented quote from the research we're exploring today. Just follow what the AI says. Hearing that out loud instantly establishes the sheer danger of what researchers are calling creative passivity. When we start treating artificial intelligence like a vending machine for answers, where we just punch in a prompt and uncritically accept whatever candy it drops out, we are in incredibly dangerous territory. So, here is our roadmap for the explainer. We're going to cover 1. The AI cognitive paradox. 2. The impact on critical thinking. 3. The impact on creative thinking. 4. These 3 co-occurrence patterns. And finally, 5. Designing AI-mediated learning. Let's kick things off with Section 1. The AI cognitive paradox, unraveling the global research. We're basically treating all the wildly contradictory findings out there right now as a giant detective story, and we are going to solve it together. Looking at a brand new, comprehensive, systematic review of 67 empirical studies spanning from 2022 to 2025, we can see exactly how researchers across the globe divided their focus. 34% of the studies focused exclusively on critical thinking, which is our convergent analytical brain. 16% focused on creative thinking, or divergent idea-generating brain, and exactly half of the studies, 50%, examined both domains simultaneously. This data is absolutely crucial because it gives us a deeply credible, full 360-degree view of the cognitive landscape. Now, one of the most alarming themes to emerge from all this data is something called cognitive offloading. It's defined as substituting cognitive effort with convenience. Basically, it leads to a huge over-reliance on AI and deeply reduces our motivation to analyze things independently. I want to challenge you right now to ask yourself, and be totally honest, are you guilty of this? In your own daily workflows, are you using AI to manage your cognitive load, or are you just letting the machine do the hard work so you simply don't have to? Moving right along to Section 2. Impact on critical thinking, the convergent process. This is the part of our brain where we interpret data, evaluate evidence, and construct really solid evidence-based arguments. On one hand, we have the affordances, the massive benefits. When used correctly, ChatGPT brilliantly boosts metacognitive engagement. It helps us structure complex arguments, and it even prompts us to detect errors by forcing us to fact-check its occasional hallucinations. But on the flip side, the limitations are pretty severe. Without proper instructional scaffolding, meaning without a deliberate plan to challenge ourselves, ChatGPT causes really surface-level engagement. It literally erodes our ability to develop an argument because, it hands us the conclusion before we've even done the mental math. All right, Section 3. Impact on creative thinking, the divergent process. Now, this is the big question for all you writers, designers, and innovators out there. Does ChatGPT actually cure blank page syndrome, or does it just flatten human imagination into a generic pancake? Well, the research shows AI acts as an unbelievably powerful brainstorming buddy. It completely excels at early idea generation, dialogic engagement, bouncing ideas back and forth, and it actually activates motivation by making that incredibly intimidating blank page just disappear. But without caution, it breeds creative passivity when you rely on it for the finished product. It suppresses true exploration, and honestly, most tragically, it causes a complete loss of your unique voice. Which leads perfectly into a term known as narrative flattening. This is the erosion of your personal voice, your individual style, and your emotional authenticity. It happens the exact moment you uncritically adopt an AI-generated suggestion. Think about what a large language model actually is for a second. It works by predicting the most mathematically probable next word. So when you let it write for you without heavily editing and injecting your own humanity, you are literally trading your unique human perspective for the mathematically average output of an algorithm. You become statistically average. Crazy, right? So what happens when we mix these two halves of the brain together in the real world? That takes us to Section 4, 3 co-occurrence patterns, when critical and creative collide. The research actually maps out 3 exact scenarios of human-AI interaction. Let's walk through them. First, we have synergistic enhancement. This is the absolute gold standard. Critical and creative thinking both increase because the user engages in deep inquiry and treats the AI like an actual dialogue partner. But look at this middle row, asymmetrical development. This is the scary reality for a lot of people. Creative thinking increases, meaning ideas flow really fluidly and fast, but critical thinking decreases. People generate ideas effortlessly, but entirely lose the ability to evaluate if those ideas are actually any good. They mistake the AI's semantic fluency for actual intelligence. And finally, down at the bottom, joint cognitive erosion. Both critical and creative thinking drop. This is what happens when the tool is just used as a shortcut to bypass the work altogether. Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, Designing AI-Mediated Learning, the blueprint for better thinking. Look, nobody wants to end up in that bottom row. We need actionable solutions to transform ChatGPT from a mental crutch into a true cognitive amplifier. And doing that requires a total paradigm shift towards something called epistemic friction. It sounds academic, but it's basically the productive struggle and cognitive tension required to sustain deep learning. Generative AI is incredibly smooth. It's dangerously fluent, right? It removes friction. But without friction, your brain's tires simply do not grip the road. We have to deliberately inject this productive struggle back into our prompts and our workflows to prevent the AI from bypassing our own brain power. So to help you do that, here is the recursive inquiry cycle. It's a concrete 3-step playbook to ensure you retain your epistemic responsibility. Step 1, use the AI to generate an outline. That's your creative generation. Let it break the blank page for you. Step 2, do not just accept it, critique it. Compare it against a rubric or your own rigorous standards. This forces critical evaluation and brilliantly reintroduces that epistemic friction we just talked about. Step 3, human revision. You integrate, you synthesize, you rewrite. You ensure your unique narrative voice survives. You use the machine, absolutely, but you do not let the machine use you. Which brings us to one final provocative thought that I really want you to take with you into your work tomorrow. Are you using AI to skip the thinking, or are you using it to think deeper? The research is super clear on this. ChatGPT isn't inherently good or bad for your brain. It is entirely dependent on how you design your interaction with it. You can offload your intellect, or you can amplify it. The choice ultimately is entirely yours. Keep learning, keep questioning, and above all, keep thinking for yourself. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.